Chapter 20. Now there happened to be there a base fellow, whose name was Sheba, the son of Bichri, a Benjamite, and he blew the horn and said, We have no portion in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to his tents, O Israel. So all the men of Israel went up from following David, and followed Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah did cleave unto their king, from the Jordan even to Jerusalem. And David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, whom he had left to keep the house, and put them inward, and provided them with sustenance, but went not in unto them. So they were shut up unto the day of their death in widowhood, with their husband alive. Then said the king to Amasa, Call me the men of Judah together within 3 days, and be you here present. So Amasa went to call the men of Judah together, but he tarried longer than he set time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, Now will Sheba, the son of Bichri, do us more harm than did Absalom. Take you your lord's servants, and pursue after him, lest he get him fortified cities, and escape out of our sight. And there went out after him Joab's men, and the Kerethites, and the Pelethites, and all the mighty men. And they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And when they were at the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amasa came to meet them, and Joab was girded with his apparel of war that he had put on. And thereon was a girdle with a sword fastened upon his loins, in the sheath thereof, and as he went forth, it fell out. And Joab said to Amasa, It is well with you, my brother. And Joab took Amasa by the beard with his right hand to kiss him. But Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand, and he smote him therewith in the groin, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, and he died. And Joab and Abishai his brother pursued after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And there stood by him one of Joab's young men, and said, He that favoreth Joab, and that is for David, let him follow Joab. And Amasa lay wallowing in his blood in the midst of the highway. And when a man saw that all the people stood still, he carried Amasa out of the highway into the field, and cast a garment over him, when he saw that every one that come by him stood still. And when he was removed out of the highway, all the people went on after Joab, to pursue after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Avel, and to Beth-maachah, and all the Berites, and they were gathered together, and went also after him. And they came and besieged him in Avel of Beth-maachah, and they cast up a mound against the city, and it stood in the moat, and all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. Then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, hear, say, I pray you, unto Joab, Come near here, that I may speak with you. And he came near unto her, and the woman said, Are you Joab? And he answered, I am. Then she said unto him, Hear the words of your handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. Then she spoke, saying, There were wont to speak in old times, saying, They shall surely ask counsel at Avel. So they ended the matter. We are of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. Seekest you to destroy a city and a mother in Israel? Wilt you swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? And Joab answered and said, far be it from me, that I should swallow up or destroy. The matter is not so, but a man of the hill country of Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Bichri by name, hath lifted up his hand against the king, even against David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, Behold, his head shall be thrown to you over the wall. Then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and threw it out to Joab. And he blew the horn, and they were dispersed from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. Now Joab was all over all the host of Israel, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and over the Pelethites. And Adoram was over the Levi, and Jehoshaphat was over the son of Ahilud, was the recorder, and Sheiah was scribe, and Zadok and Abiathar were priests, and Erah also Yerite was chief minister unto David. Okay, let's go back to verse 1. Now yesterday they had brought David back across the Jordan, and David had said his goodbyes, and they'd had their little gathering there at Gilgal, this place of rolling away, and the Israelites and Judah had got in a little bit of argument there, and Judah had prevailed with their words, and basically this is where we're still at Gilgal, and this argument is coming to its end. Verse 1. Now there happened to be a base fellow whose name was Sheva, the son of Bichri, a Benjamite, and he blew the horn and said, We have no portion in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to his tents, O Israel. So now, while they're standing there, and there's this man, he's a base fellow, and that's what we would call today a lowlife. And his name is Sheva. And Shiva means 7. But Shiva, out of this 7, we remember this Bathsheba, this place in the prophecies a while back, this well of this 7-fold oath. And he's the son of Bichri, and Bichri means the firstborn, a firstborn. And he's blown the horn and said, We have no portion in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. So now he started a small revolution, this son of Bichri has. Verse 2, So all the men of Israel went up from following David, and followed Sheva, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah did cleave unto the king from the Jordan even to Jerusalem. So we're going to find now that God's making another example here. He has used David, and he uses David all the way to the day of his death. And he's trying to show you something here. God's going to use once again these ones that come against the house of David just as a similitude or symbolism of these things that come to pass in the end time. Verse 3. And David came to his house at Jerusalem, and the king took the 10 women, his concubines, who he had left to keep the house, and put them inward, and provided them with sustenance, but went not in unto them. So they were shut up into the day of their death in widowhood with their husband alive. So we remember these 10 concubines that David had now, these 10 women, and these are going to be the teachings now. A woman, it means from man, and these always have something to do with a teaching of men, these words of men, these understandings of men. Now, these 10 here, though, these were the 10, they had reference to the law of God, 10. And David puts them up in the house, and this is the symbolism now that he's going to make widows out of them. So they'll no longer be able to bring forth that which they was able to before, because David's not going to give them the sustenance to do that, but he's going to supply them only with that which they need, that which to sustain the flesh. Then said the king to Amasa, Call me the men of Judah together within 3 days, and be you here present. Now, Amasa, we remember Amasa. David's went and made Amasa captain of the host in Joab's place. And he's told Amasa now, gather up the armies of Judah. I'm going to give you 3 days to get them together, and then be you and the armies here present in front of me. 5, so Amasa went to call the men of Judah together, but he tarried longer than he set time which he had been appointed to. And we'll remember Amasa, it means this burden that has to be carried, and that is in reference to an idol. This is an idol you have to carry. It ain't like God who carries you. You have to bear this thing up on your shoulder. See, and that's what it's about, bearing it up on your shoulder as a burden. It's a burden. It's going to put weight on you now. And David said to Abishai, "Now will Sheva, the son of Bichri, do us more harm than did Absalom. Take you your Lord's servants and pursue after him, lest he get him fortified cities and escape out of our sight." So now, David's told Abishai, remember Abishai, he's the father's gift, my father's gift, that if now that Sheva, the 7, are going to escape, they're going to be worse to us than Absalom was. And we remember what just happened to Absalom. He had run David up out of the kingdom. Well, this is the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just using a different characters to relay the same message. Now, David's telling Abishai, we're going to have to chase this guy down and get rid of him unless he gets him some fortified cities and builds up an army and becomes a very big problem. 7, and there went out after him Joab's men, and the Kerethites and the Pelethites and all the mighty men, and they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheva, the son of Bichri. Now, we'll notice the 7 of these. It's always given to Sheva, the son of Bichri. So, and Sheva's these 7 of the sons of the firstborn. Now, Joab's men have gone out with Abishai. He's still fighting, and he's got the Kerethites and the Pelethites with him. And these Kerethites are the enforcers, and these Pelethites are these runners, these messengers. And now they're going out to chase down Sheva and the son of Bichri. 8, when they were at the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amasa came to meet them. And Joab was girded with his apparel of war, and he had put on, and thereon was a girdle with the sword fastened upon his loins in the sheath thereof, and as he went forth, it fell out. Now, Amasa, he's finally catching up with them. He's this idol, and he's come to this great stone there at Gibeon, and Gibeon is this hill, this high place. And that's what it stands for, this high place, and this great stone is that pillar which they've set up, even this idol, this image, this thing that shades. And Amasa being the representation of this. And we'll notice now Joab, he's got him a girdle around the inner thigh there, and he's got a little sword hidden up under there. And the story tells us that it fell out. Actually, Joab has slipped it out as he approaches Amasa. 9, and Joab said to Amasa, "It is well with you, my brother." And Joab took Amasa by the beard with his right hand to kiss him. So now Joab's coming up to Amasa. He's slipping the sword out with his left hand. He reaches up and grabs Amasa by the beard to kiss him with his right hand. 10, but Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand. And he smote him therewith in the groin, and he shed out his bowels on the ground, and struck him not again, and he died. And Joab and Abishai his brother pursued after Sheva, the son of Bichri. So Joab had disemboweled this idol, left it laying there, as we're getting ready to find out. He didn't pay attention to this little sword that Joab had. And Joab took him, cut him in the guts, and disemboweled him right there in the highway. And this is a sign that he just emptied him out. 11, and there stood by him one of Joab's young men, and he said, "He that favoreth Joab, and he that is for David, let him follow Joab." So, and we know that Joab has been there going beside David, fighting these battles for David all the way through. God is Father. Joab means God is Father. And he's been the captain of the host this whole time. This young man now that is with Joab screams out, "Whoever's for Joab and for David, let him follow Joab." And because they had made Amasa the captain of the host, 12, and Amasa lay wallowing in his blood in the midst of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, he carried Amasa out of the highway into the field and cast a garment over him. And when he saw that every one that came by him stood still. So now Amasa's laying there wallowing in his blood, and everybody's coming up looking at him laying there. His guts are laying out on the ground. And everybody's stopping. And this man sees that this idol in its wallowing is holding everybody up, and it's laying in the highway, and he drags it up out of the highway over into the field a distance, because he's going to clear this highway out. And he throws a garment over it, and this garment is a covering, a something that was given to cover him up, to hide him so no one can see no more that. And 13, when he was removed out of the highway, all the people went on after Joab to pursue after Sheva, the son of Bichri. So now they've got the idol out of the way, and all the men have gone on. They're going to pursue after Joab, and they're going to chase down the son of Bichri. And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Abel and to Beth Maacah, and all the Biderites, and they were gathered together and went on also after him. So now Joab and Abishai, they're going on after him, and everybody. They're chasing Sheba down. They've gone all through Israel, and they've come to Avel and of Beth Maacah. And Avel means this meadow, this pleasant little meadow there beside the house of oppression. And this meadow there beside the house of oppression. And we're going to find out now. And the Biderites, and they were gathered together and went also after him. And these Biderites means my well. And this is where God's well's located here. It's by this house of oppression in this meadow, this pleasant place. God's trying to show you a little glimpse into his kingdom here. We have this house of oppression, this place of idolatry. And now it's going to be thrown down and drug out of the way. We're clearing the king's highways, what he's doing. And this well, they're going to come to the well now that is in this pleasant place beside the house of oppression. 15, and they came and besieged him in Avel of Beth Maacah, and they cast up a mound against the city, and it stood in the moat, and all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. So now Joab and all the armies, they've come up to Avel, and they've laid a mound against this city, and now the city stands in a moat, in a ditch, because they've cast a mound around the city until they're standing up looking down in it. And Joab's come up, and he's beating on the gates. They're going to tear the walls down. 16, then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, hear, say, I pray you, unto Joab, Come near here, that I may speak with you. Now, this woman is this wise teaching. It's going to be a wise teaching that's inside this city. And she's calling to Joab. She says, Come here, I want to speak with you. 17, and he came near unto her, and the woman said, Are you Joab? And he answered, I am. Then she said unto him, Hear the words of your handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. So now this woman, this wise teaching, is saying to Joab, Hey, come here a minute. Are you Joab? And he says, Yeah, I'm here. She says, Well, I got something to say. 18, then she spoke, saying, They were wont to speak in old times, saying, They shall surely ask counsel at Avel. So they ended the matter. So now Joab's come, and she's told him, Hey, listen, in the old days they used to say, You'll ask counsel when you come to this city. And we're talking about this pleasant place now, this well where God gives up understanding. And you're going to ask counsel there. 19, because this is the place of questioning. 19, we are of them that are peaceful and faithful in Israel. Seek you to destroy a city and a mother in Israel? Why wilt you swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? So this woman's telling Joab now, hey, you need to ask counsel here because we're a peaceful city. And we're the faithful in Israel. And you trying to destroy this city, a mother in Israel, that which bringeth forth righteous children? Why wilt you swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? 20. And Joab answered and said, no, far be it from me, that I should swallow up or destroy. And Joab's telling now this woman, no, far be it from me, I have not come to destroy, but in the zealousy of his hunt for these ones that have set themselves against the king, Joab has come and he's almost to tear this city down. And we'll find out this reference of the old time, the speak of the old time, is written in the book of Jasher. 21, the matter is not so, but a man of hill country of Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Bichri, by name, hath lifted up his hand against the king, even against David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, behold, his head shall be thrown to you over the wall. So now, Joab's telling this woman, I ain't come to tear this place down or destroy. But there's a man in there, and he's of the hill country, these high places of the double-fruited. His name's Sheva, the 7. He's the son of the firstborn, and he's lifted up his hand against the king, even against David, the loved one. Now deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. He's telling them, I'll leave if you give him up. 22, then the woman went out unto all the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheva, the son of Bichri, and threw it out to Joab. And he blew the horn, and they were dispersed from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. So the woman goes in her wisdom now. She goes and out to all the people there in the city, and they cut off the head of Sheva. So they take off the understanding, and they take off the head of this one, of this sevenfold oath, because that's what we're talking about. And Joab blows the horn. He sounds the alert, and the battle's over. They've accomplished their deed, and every man takes it back to the house. Joab, he goes back to Jerusalem to the king. 23, now Joab was over the host of Israel, and Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and over the Pelethites. So we know now he's kind of took back over the host of the armies of Israel. Of course, it's by the hand of God that he's done these things. And, he was a little cruel there when he killed Amasa. Maybe he shouldn't have killed Amasa. But it was by the hand of God that Joab had done these things. And Benaiah, he's the established of God. And he's the son of Jehoiada. And Jehoiada means God knows. God understands these things. And they're over the Kerethites, these enforcers. And the Pelethites are these runners, these ones that go out and carry the messages of God. 24, and Adoram was over the Levi, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was the recorder. And Adoram means the Lord is lifted up. And Jehoshaphat, he's the son of Ahilud, and he's the recorder. And Jehoshaphat means God is judged. And Ahilud means my brother is a child. 25. And Shaval was the scribe, and Zadok and Abiathar was the priest. And we see this word Shavah. It sounds just like Shavah, but this here is Shayah. This V should be turned into a Y sound and say Yah. So it's Shayah. It's not like Sheba or Shavah. It's Shayah. So Shayah means falsehood and emptiness. And Zadok is righteous, and Abiathar the father is my father's remnant, or the remains of father. 26. And Evrah also the Yerite was chief minister unto David. And Evrah, he is the awakener. He's a Yerite, or the enlighteners. And he's the chief minister unto David. And God has set this up, and because this is what David's purpose was, is to awaken everybody, to bring everybody to understanding now. See, God has set David here in this place, and he likens him to Israel with symbolism. All right, we're going to move on to chapter 21.